Okay, so the next big problem that the US government had with Utah was about the courts. Because if you remember, the national government has the power to decide who's going to be the judges in the state. And that seemed to be fine, except that a lot of the Mormon citizens therefore weren't going to these judges that the US government had chosen. They decided that if we have an issue like divorce or a dispute over things, we're just going to go to our local bishop. And a lot of the non-Mormons that were living with them, so we talked about like railroad workers and the miners and the soldiers, they're like, is this really justice? And it gives the US government this question of like, are these the judges they're going to choose when they become their own state? Because if you remember, one of the differences between a territory and a state is that a state can choose their own judges. And so part of the problem is they're starting to go, well, what if these people, instead of choosing someone like with a law degree or with all this experience, just chooses their own bishop? And then what if that bishop is like always in favor of the Mormons and he's not in favor of like us non-Mormon people? Is what some people worried about. And then you get the government being like, is this another way that religion and government are sort of blended when in America we have separation of church and state? So this became another issue of like, if we let Utah become a state, will the Mormons take over the whole government? Because right now, when you have a territorial government, the US government is in charge. And if suddenly we stop that and we say that um like Utah gets to make its own state rules, is it just going to be that Mormons take over and control everything?